First in 5, how the world and our local diocese is remembering Pope Francis after his death at the age of 88.
We're at the beginning of severe weather season, how cuts to the budget at NOAA could impact weather warnings this spring and summer.
This is also the time when construction ramps up on Wisconsin roads, how to make sure workers stay safe in those work zones.
We welcome you to News 3 Now at 5.
Pope Francis, the first non-European pontiff in nearly 1,300 years, has died.
He was 88 years old. His death follows an extended hospital stay just a few weeks ago. A look now at the Vatican, where thousands of people have been gathering all day to honor the Pope's memory. It's just before midnight in Rome tonight, so it's hard to see if there are any gatherers there, but they have been there all day. Cardinal Kevin Farrell announced the Catholic leader's death just hours after offering an Easter blessing to thousands of parishioners in St. Peter's Square. In his final message, Pope Francis called for an end to the wars in Gaza, Ukraine, and Sudan. The pontiff's death comes weeks after he was released from the hospital after battling a life-threatening case of double pneumonia. Locally, he is remembered as a man of the people.
I think that's emblematic of his whole papacy. He wanted to just be engaged, to be active, to be out there with the people. It was certainly a pope with a pastor's heart.
The Diocese of Madison office has been ringing its bell every 7 seconds for 6 hours as a way to honor Pope Francis.
His death now sparks 9 days of mourning for Catholics and an outpouring of love from around the globe. Pope Francis lying in state at St. Peter's Basilica could begin as early as Wednesday. A new pope will be elected in a process called the conclave, a secret meeting of cardinals to hold a papal election. The conclave typically happens 15 to 20 days after the papal office becomes vacant.
Let's get a check on the weather. A cloudy, breezy start to our work week. We're going to have quite a few April showers this week. Blaze Keller is out on the patio. Hi, Blaze.
Hello, that's right. And those showers begin later tonight, mainly after midnight, and last to at least the morning commute time frame on your Tuesday. Future Track is going to walk us through those early morning hours on Tuesday, and you're seeing it. Those showers, maybe a few thunderstorms marked by the yellows and the oranges there. Also notice that not everyone is going to be seeing those showers come Tuesday morning. It's not going to be as widespread or certainly as heavy as what we saw ending your Easter Sunday going into Monday. And then by the afternoon, much like today, we see the clouds break up and maybe we'll squeeze out a few bits of sunshine before we say goodbye to your Tuesday. Take a look at some of our rain totals. Again, it's going to determine, or your totals will be determined if you're underneath a heavier shower or thunderstorm, but most of us probably a couple tenths of an inch to a quarter of an inch of rain at best. So again, not widespread, not a washout, just another little bit of rain to add to your lawn before we make our way into yet another rainy Wednesday and Thursday as well. 50s for temperatures outside across southern Wisconsin. Still a bit breezy out here, seeing some breaks in the clouds as I'm out on the weather patio. We're going to talk about the rain chances Wednesday and then Thursday if you're heading up to Lambeau in the full forecast.
All right, Blaze, thank you. UW-Madison is known for those innovations in forecasting, but its work could also be in jeopardy if the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration loses an estimated 65% in federal funding.
Our Arman Rahman has more on the work that's being done here that experts say saves lives.
If you, like me, got up this morning and took a look at the weather app on your phone, then you're likely looking at data that's been processed at a cooperative institute like the one here at UW-Madison, funded by NOAA, funding that could be in jeopardy.
Weather is woven into the fabric of everyone's life.
And researchers at UW-Madison thread the needle.
Much of this work gets translated into helping people save people's lives, protect property, transportation, that's logistics. Insurance companies rely on this information.
But the thread could be cut if the $14 million SIMS gets from NOAA is. That means emergency management across the country will no longer get state-of-the-art data processed to make their decisions.
Of lightning and severe weather. Giving the emergency managers a pinpoint location on where that fire is occurring is essential.
The Cooperative Institute at UW works with 15 others across the country, like the one in Norman, Oklahoma, for a tornado outbreak in the Midwest last week. Normally, forecasters and responders get a 14-minute lead time with radar-detected tornadoes.
A 2-hour level of guidance was given to forecasters in parts of Missouri just last week.
Professor Michael Morgan says if the funding from NOAA is cut, they could lose a large chunk of the 100 people they have on staff and graduate students who would go on to work in NOAA.
NOAA has been historically underfunded and understaffed, and these cuts are only going to make matters worse.
And you at home will see the impact on your phone.
The cuts that are going to be occurring at NOAA are going to have an impact on the quality of those forecasts they get going forward, whether it's on an app or whether it's going to the Weather Service directly.
Reporting in Madison, Armand Rahman, News 3 Now.
And next at 5, the Dane County Medical Examiner's Office has identified the person who died as a result of a possible accidental shooting last Wednesday. 19-year-old Deshaun L. Sturkey of McFarland was pronounced dead at a local hospital on Thursday. 17-year-old Montre Stalling of Madison has been arrested in connection with the shooting. He's charged with homicide by negligent handling of a dangerous weapon. He has since been released on a $250 cash bond.
National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day is coming up this Saturday. It's an opportunity to safely, responsibly, and conveniently dispose of unused or expired prescription drugs. Most locations will be operating from 10 until 2, but you can find all participating locations on campusdrugprevention.gov. Last year, a Take-Back Day in October brought in just about 630,000 pounds of medication around the country.
And tomorrow is Earth Day, and DaneNet is hosting a free e-cycling event in hopes of closing what they call Dane County's digital divide. From 8 to 1 at Alliant Energy Center, residents can drop off old electronics like laptops, phones, and tablets. Medical equipment like wheelchairs and walkers will also be accepted. Usable tech will be refurbished, donated through DaneNet's Digital Equity Project. Non-working items will be safely recycled.
In honor of Earth Day, Culver's is joining in its 5th year with the river cleanup nonprofit Living Lands and Waters. 73 locations will be donating 10% of net sales to the nonprofit group. Since 2021, the partnership has raised over $100,000. Most locations are participating all day, while some will donate from 4 to 8 p.m. In Madison, the Mineral Point Road Culvers will be supporting the cause all day long.
Madison College's District Board of Trustees says Dr. Jennifer Byrne is taking over as college president. The board selected Dr. Byrne, who has 30 years of experience in higher education as a researcher, academic leader, and other various roles. She was selected following a national search. And Dr. Byrne will replace longtime college president Jack Daniels, who retired back in January. Dr. Byrne, currently serving as provost at Oakland Community College in Michigan, will take over this new role on July 1st.
Student fees, along with room and board in the UW system, are going up this year. The Board of Regents approved auxiliary rates, raising average student fees by 2.9%. That includes a $55 increase in segregated fees and a $245 hike in room and board. University staff say the boost covers wage and inflation costs, but overall revenue is still expected to drop.
Well, this week is National Work Zone Safety Awareness Week, and this year's theme is Respect the Zone so we can all get home.
News 3 Now's Jalen Banks attended an event by the Department of Transportation on the measures they're taking to make work zones safer.
Spring construction season is underway. In this National Work Zone Safety Week, WISC-DOT is encouraging safe driving across the state.
Every cone, every sign, every reduced speed limit isn't just a rule, it's a lifeline.
That was the sentiment shared as members from the State Department of Transportation and State Patrol kicked off National Work Zone Safety Awareness Week, going over improvements to work zones this year, which will include speed limit signs for the zones and other tools that will alert drivers of the zone conditions.
I can deal with bad budgets, I can deal with winter storms, I can deal with tornadoes, bad politics, and trying to get staff. But the thing, he said, I never want to have to deal with is to have to go make that knock some night on somebody's door to tell them their loved one isn't coming home.
This is all part of an effort to make the work zone safer. And according to the DOT, more than 2,100 crashes happen in Wisconsin in work zones each year, with 56 deaths occurring between 2020 and 2024 in them.
People that work alongside the roadways, our first responders, our construction workers, they're literally within inches sometimes of live traffic. And I think a lot of people don't appreciate how dangerous and how vulnerable those people are.
Drivers are mainly encouraged to do two things: slow down in work zones and put the phones away. For now, reporting in Madison, Jalen Banks, News 3 Now.
Jalen, thank you. This year, the DOT anticipates more than 400 improvement projects across the state.
A live look at Lambeau Field right now. Preparations well underway, moving right along before the NFL draft. Hundreds of thousands are expected to come to Green Bay for this event. And with that many people, housing and transportation becomes difficult for the city of just over 100,000 people in the Green Bay city limits. Scammers could try to target visitors through fake shuttle passes, QR codes for parking, and bogus parking attendants. Officials urge fans to use trusted sources like greenbay.com/draft25 or the NFL One Pass app to avoid scams. Green Bay Metro will be offering free shuttles from downtown, and there will be designated zones for rideshare services like Lyft and Uber. Reminder, Wisconsin doesn't have any toll roads, folks. So those unpaid toll messages, well, as we've learned, they are scams.
And don't forget, News 3 Now will be talking about the draft all week, and we'll be live in Green Bay starting on Wednesday. Eric is collecting all of his green and gold clothing as we speak. Our team coverage will be led by Eric, along with sports director Zach Hanley and Andrew Banstra, and our Packers insider Jason Wilde. They'll have the sights, sounds, and strategy leading up to Thursday's first round picks.
But we're bringing a tent, we're bringing our reindeer because it looks like a rainy week ahead. Meteorologist Blaise Keller with the full forecast next.
And some harrowing moments on an Orlando runway as a Delta Airlines plane catches on fire. We'll tell you how it started when we come back.
And the downward slide continues on Wall Street. The Dow Jones plummets another 972 points. The Nasdaq dives more than 415.5. The S&P falls 124.5. And we'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
A Delta Airlines flight caught fire on the runway today. This was down in Orlando. Flight 1213, bound for Atlanta, caught fire in one engine's tailpipe before takeoff. More than 200 passengers were safely evacuated. There you see them using the emergency slides. Delta says it brought in another plane, provided food and drinks at the terminal for those stranded passengers. Maintenance teams are now investigating the cause.
Patrick Crucius, who admits to killing 23 people in a 2019 mass shooting at an El Paso Walmart, has been sentenced again to life in prison without the possibility of parole. He is a self-described white nationalist and admitted targeting Hispanics in one of the deadliest attacks on Latino Americans. He had already received 90 federal life sentences and waived his right to appeal as part of a plea deal.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth faces new scrutiny for reportedly sharing classified details of a U.S. airstrike in Yemen through the encrypted app Signal, and included a private chat with his wife. CBS News confirms the messages included flight schedules. Critics are calling for his resignation, but President Trump is standing by him.
As to the Houthis, how much there's function there. There's none. Pete's doing a great job. Everybody's happy with him. We have the highest recruitment numbers I think they've had in 28 years. No, he's doing a great job. It's just fake news. They just bring up stories. I guess it sounds like disgruntled employees.
Meanwhile, the Pentagon says it's reviewing communication protocols, but insists national security was never compromised.
The Trump administration plans to take action to remove artificial food dyes from the nation's food supply. That's according to a media advisory sent by the Department of Health and Human Services today. The FDA banned red dye number 3 in food and drinks back in January under President Biden. Now the Trump administration is signaling a broader crackdown on synthetic petroleum-based food dyes.
Showers and storms on the way, but it'll at least stay a little warmer this week. Blaise Keller now with the full first warn forecast.
That's right. We're expecting warmer temperatures for your Tuesday after those showers and a few thunderstorms move in overnight. Also some patchy fog may be possible. Southwesterly winds, as I just mentioned, bringing up that warmer air, and that may cause some fog to develop here across central and southern Wisconsin. Most of that rain activity is going to be further to the west and occurring after midnight through at least the morning commute commute time frame on your Tuesday. So we are going to continue to watch as the shower chances, though, stick with us as we go into your Wednesday, your Thursday as well. And then Friday, we'll finally watch as a cold front moves in later, and that's going to dry us out just a little bit there for Saturday, but we could see that chance for maybe an isolated shower to return starting later Sunday into that following Monday. So big picture is once these showers move out Tuesday, we're going to watch as the front that kind of carries them stays just off to our south, and it just sits there. So it becomes what we call it a stationary front. Very typical, or a very good name for that front, since it's not moving anywhere. It's stationary. And then we start to see it slowly lift northward. So along that front on Wednesday, that's where we could see some showers and maybe a few thunderstorms. There is a chance that one or two of those storms produce some hail. So if that stays into northern Illinois, we likely won't see any severe weather. But once that front starts to lift further back into parts of Wisconsin, that's when we pull the moisture up north with it as well and help guide in our next system for your Thursday and then further into Friday. So we're looking at Thursday, 1 in the afternoon, not widespread rain, but again, we are eyeing that chance for scattered showers, maybe a thunderstorm or two. That moisture continues to move northwards as that front is pulled further north into your Friday. Starting Friday evening, a cold front will move on through, and that's going to clear out all of this moisture and that cloud cover. So if you're going to be heading north to Green Bay either Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, you might want to take the umbrella, because we're going to be dealing with that chance for scattered showers and thunderstorms through at least Saturday. That's when a high pressure system will move on in. At the very least, it'll dry us out, bring in a little bit of sunshine. It looks like from the northeast to the southwest. So if you're staying through the entire draft, Saturday does look like we'll be seeing plenty of sunshine there up in Green Bay. In terms of rain over the next 7 days, it's not heavy rain, but it's just enough that a few of us could accumulate a half an inch to about an inch of rain over the next 7 days. So we're not anticipating like what we saw last night, where we got about an inch of rain or so along the Mississippi River. This is going to be over a couple of days. 50s and 60s for your Tuesday. Again, warmer than where we were today, so that's some good news there. Maybe a few of us climbing into those low 70s, looking at you, Prairie du Chien. There is a look at a more detailed forecast for your temperatures if you're heading up to Lambeau Field. Wednesday, upper 60s. Draft day, mid 60s with some rain. And then we're into the mid to upper 50s to wrap up your week. And the draft, we're at 57. There on Saturday. There is a look at your 7 and your 10-day forecast. We're drying out for the weekend, but it does look like more rain chances as we kick off our following work week.
All right, Blaze, thank you. A more in-depth look at the 12-year papacy of Pope Francis, who passed away today at the age of 88. That's just ahead at 5.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Before being elected as Pope back in 2013, he served as Archbishop of Buenos Aires and was made a cardinal by Pope John Paul II.
As Karen Kafa reports, from the beginning, Pope Francis had the common touch.
Dear brothers and sisters, with deep sorrow, I must announce the death of our Holy Father, Francis.
Hours after giving the Easter blessing in front of thousands of Catholics in St. Peter's Square,
Buona Pasqua.
Pope Francis died at his residence at 88 years old. In his final message, the Holy Father called for an end to wars in Gaza, Ukraine, and Sudan. His death now sparks 9 days of mourning for Catholics and an outpouring of love from across the globe.
I remember when he called me when my mom died. I remember when he called me during COVID to find out how God's people here in New York were doing.
Pope Francis's papacy was unprecedented in many ways by being more inclusive, supporting same-sex civil unions, and his tireless advocacy for migrants. He's remembered by many as the People's Pope.
The Pope of the poor, the Pope of the marginalized, underprivileged. He's also what I'm going to call a reformer Pope, because he made a lot of changes to the way the Vatican is run, the way the church is run.
He was a good man. Loved the way he was with the poor.
People can understand each other and not be against each other, and can disagree but can still love each other. And I think that was good. that he brought that to the table.
Pope Francis's death comes weeks after he was released from the hospital after battling a life-threatening case of pneumonia in both lungs. In New York, I'm Lee Waldman.
And we're back with a final check of your First Warn forecast after a short break.
Tonight, from the Vatican and communities across the country, remembering Pope Francis as the 53 million Catholics in this country reflect on his papacy.
We'll also look forward to the future and the upcoming choice of the 267th leader of the world's 1 billion Catholics. That's tonight on the CBS Evening News.
And our coverage of the Pope's passing continues at 6. We'll hear local reaction from Catholic leaders on Pope Francis's impact on Wisconsin and the world.
Finally, at 5, it is almost time for Wisconsin's beloved Fat Bird Week. From May 2nd to May 9th, 8 chunky native birds will compete in a bracket-style tournament, and you get to vote. The contest celebrates birds like the necklace northern cardinal and the enormous eastern bluebird, while raising awareness for conservation. Voting opens May 2nd at 9 a.m. Daily reminders are available through the Bird News You Can Use email list.
That's fun.
I just saw the little thing that just said Fat Bird, and I was
all
like,
for
what
a
is
good
this
cause,
about?
all for conservation. Blaze is back. Final check of the forecast.
Yes, and it is going to be a rainy night out there once we cross the midnight hour. Until then, some sunshine before we go into the evening. We'll eventually dip into those 30s. Clouds will increase as we go overnight. As I mentioned, from midnight onwards, expect more partly cloudy conditions and that chance for rain to pick up, especially out west. That rain chance does wrap up during the morning hours on Tuesday, much like today. We dry out, we get a little bit of sunshine. Shower and thunderstorm chances return for your Wednesday, your Thursday, and your Friday. So get out on Saturday, because that's the one day it looks like over the next couple of days that we're at least dry and we get some sunshine, because showers and thunderstorms return Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week, but we'll be back in the 70s.
Yeah, we're going up to the draft. Our coverage will begin on Wednesday, and we're preparing with tents for our coverage. Hopefully not an all-day rain, though, for all the fans that are going up to Green Bay for the draft.
Fingers crossed. I can't change it, but it doesn't look like it's going to be maybe hit or miss. I think it might be more.
At least you had 71 in there, so it's not freezing rain.
No.
We're back in a half hour for News 3 Now at 6. CBS Evening News starts next.